All right, everyone, welcome to episode 4 of the X-Foils, and I'm here in our studio, fake studio, with Walt. He's back. He's going to be my sidekick today, and we got Mickey with us, pioneer of downwinding here in Puerto Rico, we hope. We're not going to give you any title.
Please don't.
No titles,
Right.
okay. But Mickey's part of our, the downwind crew that we kind of downwind with and foil with, and he's always tinkering around with different stuff and too much stuff, to be honest.
Couldn't hold that back, huh? All right.
Well, you never know what you're going to be riding next or what you feel comfortable with, but it's cool because everyone's tinkering with stuff. So, Walt's tinkering with stuff, but you go overboard.
I go into these rabbit holes
Yeah,
hard.
yeah.
Well, we all do right now, right?
Yeah.
I think at this point in the game, it's like you're always looking for what that next thing is, and all the new equipment's so exciting, especially with downwind. Trying to find that perfect fit, right? Everything could, if it could be a little bit better, it's worth the risk, right?
It's just that little bit better. For me, it's just when you got your equipment dialed, you're out with your boys, you're doing a nice downwind, everything's cool, and then this one guy just passes you by like, and you're like, what?
What is he on?
Yeah, what is he on? What are you riding? And it starts like that. A little chin, a little tail.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, your bank account is not the same. So
I can't imagine, dude.
it's hard.
So yeah, I'm part of this WhatsApp group chat here in Puerto Rico. It's like a foil market,
Yeah.
and people post things for sale. I'm very active on it.
We know.
Everyone knows I'm
there.
pretty active on it. But Mickey sometimes just throws up these things, and you gotta think that there's something wrong with it. It's got a gaping hole in it. He's smashed it into the reef or something, but it's just, I don't know. You're going through cycles, and
Yes.
you're giving the opportunity to the next person. And I buy a lot of gear, and I sell a lot of gear, and I buy more than I sell. So, and sometimes
more than I sell, yeah.
I'm very tempted to jump on these deals, and I have a couple of times. So thanks, Mickey.
People should know when I post things for sale on that chat, I just want to get rid of it. It doesn't mean that it's bad equipment. It's just I see this thing, I buy it, I want to try it, and I'm okay by losing a couple of $100 just to try that new thing.
Couple of thousand.
Nah, sometimes.
We'll
But-
talk. I've heard some pretty bad trades that have gone on.
Yeah. But for me, if you have something I need, and I have a $2,000 something, but I'm not using it, and I have no use for it, it's just there taking space, and you have a $1,000 something that I need, and you want to swap it, I'll swap it, because I need what you have. You know what I mean? So I'm not looking for that. No, I bought it for $2,000. I want $1,900. No, I just want to get rid of it and let's go.
I think the folks just sometimes think it's a scam because they're like, wow, that 860R literally came out last week, and all of a sudden Mickey's selling it
Yeah.
on the chat like the same week it came out.
Dylan didn't give me a break. He never make it to the chat. Never made it there. He grabbed it.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
when I see opportunity,
yeah.
So before I met you and I started the downwind, that's when I truly met you, is because you're really heavy into that for a long time. We'll get into your history a little bit. But yeah, that's where I started to see you is on this chat. And I was like, who? And I told Walt the same thing. I'm like, who is this Mickey guy? Like anything that comes out, he's got it first. I don't know where his source is coming from. I thought I had good sources, but your sources are coming from the top somewhere.
Yeah.
You must know some people.
I know some people that know some people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're in Puerto Rico now. You're living here. But
Always lived here.
You've always lived here, but I thought you lived in Hawaii for a little bit, in Maui.
No, I've been going back and forward to Maui like for the last 9 or 10 years.
Okay.
Every summer. It started for the downwind, SUP downwind, unlimited 16-footers, 14-footer
Yeah.
class. So I got hooked really hard on that thing,
Yeah.
doing downwinds. So when I discovered like you can go from point A to point B and just, surf all the way, I was hooked. That was it. I said, this is all I'm doing the rest of my life. I don't want to do anything else.
Yeah.
And that's here. Then you go to Maui and do a Maliko run, and that's it. You don't want kids, you don't want a wife, you just want to live there and do that thing 24/7.
So this is your full-time job, huh?
Not full, but it takes most of my time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mickey's got it pretty figured out right now.
I mean, you work for that. So I kind of like said, right now for the last 5 years, I've done it in a way that I can just go the summers to Maui and just pretty much do what I want the rest
Yeah.
of the year.
Nice.
Yeah.
And have you spent many summers here doing Downwinders? You
Foiling, you mean?
Yeah, but every single year you go to Maui?
Yeah.
Every single year.
Yeah, I think I didn't go for that
The COVID year, right?
1 year that you couldn't travel.
Yeah.
And then the next year, it was just 1 year. Then the next year I went.
Okay.
And it was empty. It was great.
And so what were you doing before you were doing your downwind supping? Like what got you into the water? I mean, you don't have to go through every single sport, but what was your most passion before that?
Bodyboarding.
Bodyboarding.
Yes.
With your body or with a boogie board?
Boogie board. So I don't know, but is it boogie boarding, bodyboarding?
I honestly don't know, but yeah.
Bodyboarding,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Well, after next week's guest, we'll know a lot more.
Next week? No, it's going to be a week after.
Well, whatever.
We don't know the schedule, man.
I don't know the schedule.
Yeah, but no,
Somebody's coming
I've
up.
got someone that's coming on. That's a bodyboarder. I don't know if I want to say
Yeah,
that.
that's the way to say it.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I started that high school, I'm gonna say, 15, 16.
Okay.
Then what else? Yeah, that was it. Then I was doing nothing for a while, just working, had a kid, and just my mind went another way, trying to figure out my family situation. And then I just got to get into the water. Paddleboarding was just starting here. And I said, I got to get into the water, and there was
Like
this
sup
store.
surfing.
Yeah. And right here in the street, there was this place, Vela Uno. And I just, when I saw all these paddleboards, and I just walked in, like, what's this all about? The guy just explained it to me, blah, 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 blah. I ended up buying a paddleboard. Started with that, doing like core races and course races. And then I said, this sucks. I don't like this. I'm more into the surfing or just catching waves. And then I ended up finding out about this downwind thing.
So you did surf it as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
I started doing just, sub surf and some races, which I sucked at it because my cardio is not the best. So it was like, I don't like this. And then some races was like side wind or upwind. I hated it.
That's horrible.
Horrible.
But you were paddling into the wind today, no?
Yeah, but there's a huge reward coming
There's a
down.
payoff.
Yeah,
Exactly,
there's
right?
a payoff coming
I
down.
was standing on the beach and the wind turned on all of a sudden. It was like north, straight on
north,
shore.
yeah.
I'm like, I think Mickey's going to be paddling straight into the wind
but it wasn't
to do
that,
a
it wasn't that
downwinder.
bad.
No?
It seemed more than
Yeah, I know.
what it really was
when you're
you were
sitting
in
up on the
water.
top. Yeah,
Yeah.
those onshore winds kind of blow up the cliff a little, like up the hill, and
Yeah.
like they feel like
They
they're a
make
little
it
bit
look
stronger.
like it's blowing stronger,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I'm trying to remember my first down. Also, I met this guy, it's a key on my story. It's Art, Art Weibel.
Yep.
My friend, he lives in
man.
Maui right now. So he started doing that with his friends. That's another story. So he got me into it. And so I got a board.
How did you meet Art?
I met Art because I was going paddleboarding in the Condado Lagoon, where I have my business now. And he at the time and two other guys were the owners of this paddleboard rental that they have there. And one of them did this, Rafa, did these drills in the morning and some exercising and get a group of people and go out paddleboarding, whatever, and I got into that. And I met Art, and yeah, it went from there. Art liked like going to the reefs in the morning and surfing, so I started going with him. And then he got a downwind board, I got a downwind board, and yeah. we started
So he
going.
already had that paddleboard business when you
Art-
met him, or?
Art was, I'm not gonna say the first, but it was close. I don't know in Rincon, in the
Yeah.
west side, if somebody was doing it.
Yeah.
But I think him and another guy were like the first people to get a paddleboard here in Puerto Rico and start doing the paddleboard thing in the
It
lagoon.
was a big boom. I remember, yeah, my buddy from Jupiter was on that boom, and he was still stocked up with paddleboards when it kind of went down. And then the COVID came back, and he didn't have enough, you know?
Really?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
there's a boom again. But so you have a paddleboard rental. You do lessons as well, or
We do
it's
lessons and we do
really-
just mostly rental.
What's it called?
San Juan paddleboarding.
San Juan paddleboarding. It's in the lagoon of
It's in
Condado.
the Condado Lagoon, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
My wife has her niece coming, and she's like, "I want to go paddleboarding." I'm like, "Yeah, I know the guy.
Let me know.
We're gonna go rent the paddleboards and go in the
hook you
lagoon."
up. Yeah.
I've been in the lagoon only when I started to learn how to downwind with you. You
Mm-hmm.
took me there. I went to the spot, really cool spot. You just go straight into the lagoon. There's like a little ramp there.
Yep.
That was the first time I'd ever
Really?
been in the Condado Lagoon. Yeah. I mean, when you kite and you surf and
there's
you
no use
spend your
for-
then why would
yeah.
I go to the lagoon?
Why?
But then
Yep.
there was a reason for me to go and learn how to paddle this tiny skinny board, and that was really when the first time I actually learned something was when I went paddling with you. I had been on the water, I guess 5 days beforehand, and was just messing
Trying
around.
to
Just-
pop up the board.
yeah, like flat water pop up, and then we went to your spot. We went in the lagoon. We paddled all the way down under the bridge to El Perro.
Yeah, because I tell people it's, what's that, like a quarter of a mile paddle, something like that,
Yeah.
to the spot, just
Yeah.
flat water. So
Yeah.
when people come and it's their first time, I just say, hey, listen, just get into the flat water, whatever equipment you're going to use, and learn to paddle that board all the way to the spot where you're going to do the pop-ups.
Yeah.
And it gives you more of a feeling of how the board's going to go. You know?
Yeah, coming back sucked.
Really?
Yeah, the wind picked. I was like trying to paddle
yeah,
up
it's
for
up
like an
coming back.
hour.
Yeah.
And then the wind picked up, and you're like straight headwind
Yeah.
paddling back to your car
You get
a
used
quarter
to it.
mile.
You
You're
get
like,
used to
damn
it.
it.
Or then you
I
don't
went,
do that and
I,
you use
I went
the
straight
parking.
in the middle of the lagoon, like with the wind in my face. You guys were
the
on the
worst.
corner.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna cut you off.
You have to go close to the building.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everything those first few sessions on the downwind board kind of sucks, right? Like the paddling in general, you're just like, wow, this feels very challenging.
If you never paddled before,
Yeah, if you didn't have it, I mean, because I came to it without much of a sup background. I mean, a little bit, on rivers in Western North Carolina and stuff, but I'd never sup surfed or anything. And I think that was the biggest challenge for me, was just my body transitioning to being able to paddle well and get the power I needed without like injuring myself. And yeah, it's a totally different skill set. You see those guys who spend a lot of time on a sup, hop on a downwind board, and they're standing more parallel. You can just tell in their stroke, they're stroking from the hips, right? I think it's cool to see how much it definitely transitions over, right? That sup background
that
totally
helped
transitions.
me a lot because I had nobody to tell me.
Just
what
like
to do
foiling.
when I started.
Yeah.
Just like foiling. It went from that, doing that downwind with the 14 footers and 16. Then a couple of friends from Aguadilla, Taito, Velo, we traveled one summer. And then Giselle, which was also a good friend of mine. We went to Maui to do the Olukai. Not the M2O or nothing. We did the Olukai race that they don't do anymore. It's a Maliko run to the, I don't remember the spot, to the park. I don't remember, something park. It's like a 7-miler, which is the Paralimua. What they do the Paralimua now is kind of that same thing. And we just went for those races. We did the Paralimua, we did the Olukai, and that was it. And it was great. And we stayed for a few weeks, do a few downwinds. Then the last, or the one before the last, I don't remember, on that Olukai, they did the race, and then people started talking like 3 hours after that. There was just this bus, people hanging out in the park and drinking beer or whatever. You saw what Kai Lenny did or whatever. So that's the day he went with the chopped Nash. They got a 14-footer Nash, and they chopped it out. They put a gold foil on it, and the guy just went. I mean, I didn't see him, but I was there, and everybody just went crazy, like, what's that? Some people were really excited. Some other people were like, that's not going to take.
So the WhatsApp chat on Maui, Mickey posted, downwind board for sale, 15-footer.
Not
Immediately.
Not quite.
$150.
Not quite that fast. But then I came back home. I think that was the last Olukai. And it started to pick up in Maui, the foiling thing. And you just couldn't get any information on anything. Nobody was selling foils. I think the only foils were kite foils. So you got to and I was like hooked. I want to do this thing. And so I started looking around, and these guys from Foil Mount came out with this, you
stick
glue
pad,
it, you
yep.
stick pad, you glue it to the board, and
I have some of those, yeah.
We all,
and I went like,
unfortunately, know the
that's
stick
it.
pad.
And I talked to the guys, and I got one of those. Couldn't get a foil. I did call Alex Alguera, the guy from Go Foil at that time. And he was just like, he told me like, we're doing something, it's in production, but it's not out yet. But he was like, you know, setting his stuff for the Go foil. And then I got this guy in England.
But GoFoil, they were making foils for kiting. They were Alex Aguirre foils. I remember it.
Okay, yeah. They have the AA.
Yeah, he was making foils
Okay.
and for racing, and I mean, I remember back in Cabarete when I was learning, I saw a bunch of Alex Aguirre foils, and then that's when he started to. I don't really know the story. I'm assuming that when he started to make the bigger foils and a little bit more market for it in the downwinding or surfing, that's when it changed over to GoFoil.
Yeah, I
right?
think so. It's kind of a haze for me. I got the years and the months all like kind of mixed up. But I talked to him and they weren't ready. So I just started looking, and this guy from Soup Hut, I think in England, he got that Takuma. And it's a weird one. I think I sent you the picture. It was aluminum, the whole thing, and I think the front wing was a combination of aluminum and carbon or something.
Super low aspect.
And yes.
Super low aspect.
And I'm like I'm
6.
getting that thing. I didn't know how to foil. I don't know the first thing about foiling, nothing. So I just got the thing, put it on a starboard surfboard. It was an 8 by 30 something. Stick that thing in and started using it. Before that, I couldn't get that foil here in time, so I got a slingshot foil. But it was used for kiting.
But a kite foil.
I had one of those.
The blue one, right?
Horrible.
That had to be 2012, no? Or what year are you thinking?
I think I sent you the picture. It was when I got the slingshot it was 2020 or
Oh, really? Okay.
2021. I'm not saying they came out
Yeah,
that
it was
year. I'm
new.
saying
Okay,
my
yeah.
story, the time that I got into it,
Yeah.
But
You were just trying to get your hands on
Yes,
any foil.
something.
Just something.
Dude,
Yeah.
so I got that thing.
were you able to pop up that slingshot?
Listen, I went to the beach, started to try to surf the thing
Yeah,
because I
okay.
didn't know about foiling.
Yeah.
And first 2 things, I didn't know what I was doing. Then I found out that if you don't put your balance or your feet correctly in the board, that you become a tackle, basically. That thing, the rail goes like this, and you go belly into the rail, and I did like that like 6 times. The foil, like skipping your face, like, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
The dreaded taco.
Then I went with these guys in Aguadilla, and we started doing it behind a boat.
Yeah.
And that's where we got kind of a sense of what it was. And then from then it was that. Then I got the Go foil. I remember the Malico 200, put it on that starboard, and went to El Perro to try pop-ups.
Yeah.
And I was there like for 3:30 or 4 until, nightfall. I almost got it. Just, hitting the board, screaming, little tear, dripping down, almost crying. You get home, you just want to fight. You don't want to talk.
Kick your dog.
Everything. There was no equipment. Everybody was freaking it, try to figure it out. Then I got a Takuma board. I think I had what was it? A Go foil, 180 something. They already coming out. Alex was already coming out with the high aspects. And I got, I think, a 180 or 220 or something. And I started doing it with that, and then I could pop it up, do the pop-ups on a 5.9 by 28, So it was hard.
By 28.
Yes, it was hard.
Damn.
And we went with a friend of mine with the boat, and we went to the south side of the island, and it was really windy by Palgueras. And I tell him, like, listen, I think I can try that downwind thing here. Look at those rollers, like. And I just went without knowing, tried a few times, and I popped up. And when I was going, I didn't know what I was doing. It was just, I was going. And it was like,
Yeah.
hooked.
First flight.
Yes.
That first flight. That's what
It
gets
was,
everybody.
and that was it. That was a lot of $1,000 ago. Yeah.
Well, we're all right there with you, Mickey.
Then by the summer of 2020, I think, or 21, I had a Mudson make me a custom board for soup surfing. It was a 5.9 by 28, 111 liters. And that thing was perfect. You can catch waves, you can wing it, whatever it was. And that was my first summer with that board. I went to Maui to stay at Art's house. And I wasn't sure if I want to jump into a Maliko run, a full 10-miler with that thing. And he goes like, no, I got a couple of friends. They're doing this short run. It's like 4 miles. Tomoko and Devin, friends of him. And they were starting too. They were learning, these girls. And I said, yeah, I'll go with them. Perfect. So I go out, and they're going like, it's not such a good day. Trying to tell me like, this gets better. I'm sorry. Dude, and the rollers were like, I'm like looking at those things, and I'm like, so excited. I'm like, wow, you guys are spoiled.
Yeah.
That's in Puerto Rico. That's that's nooking conditions in Puerto Rico. Yeah. So I go out. I see the first roller. I go for it. Boom, and I'm gone.
Oh no.
I'm gone. That's it. Then we get to shore, and they're looking at me like, you've done this before? I'm like, no, this is my first summer. And yeah, that's the start of it.
And what were you riding again? What foil?
By then, I think I had by that time, I had a F1 Phantom 1480.
Wow.
Big one.
Yeah.
It's a big foil. But good. I mean, for learning, for what I was doing, it was
Yeah, I think that's like a 7 or something, 7.8 aspect ratio,
Yeah, right.
that thing.
It's, yeah. But it was
it's a
a fat
fatty.
one. It's
Yeah.
a fatty. Yeah.
And you had done downwinders prior in Puerto Rico?
That Parguera thing, we did a couple of times.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I came back from that summer
Yeah.
with that board that I started like looking at my old runs.
Oh,
that
so
I
you
did.
So the board over in Maui. You didn't have it
No,
here?
they shipped it. I don't remember. I think he shipped it here to
Oh,
Puerto
okay.
Rico. But I just surfed with it. I didn't do downwinds.
Okay.
So I went to Maui, did a downwind with that board. I did a little bit of downwind with it. Now I'm remembering here. Then I went to Maui with the board. Yes, because that was at the end of that trip. We went to flat water pop-ups that Jeremy Riggs does in Maui on the Tuesday mornings. And Tomoko, she was like, you gotta come see these new boards, Barracudas, whatever. And I'm like, I'm not because I wasn't a fan. I was like, I'm not riding one of those. I don't need, that's too long of a board. Why
You're
would
like,
I need?
I already got up on what I have,
Exactly.
so why would I get on that?
Need that board? But I went, I couldn't flat water pop-up that 5.9, I couldn't. So I'm there, and by that time, there were not that many Barracudas out, so everybody was kind of like really jealous about their boards, and I just go straight to Tomoko and like, hey, let me try that thing. And she's looking at me like, here, like, you put the paddle on that board. I mean, just comparing for my 5.9. There are a lot of boards out there now, but that time I put the paddle down and that thing just went like nothing. The acceleration on that board is, and I kept going and I pumped a few times and I popped the thing up on flat water, and I was like, what's happening here? And then that was that was it.
5.9 for sale.
Yes.
5.9%.
I
Where's
went,
that WhatsApp chat?
give me Dave's number. Where's Dave? And just I want a custom board.
What's
And
his address?
hooked.
Yeah, right.
I was hooked with the Kalama.
So you've been through a lot of different boards, and obviously you've been doing this since, when everybody kind of had this thought of like you were expanding from what people were sup surfing with a foil. Like, what do you think makes a great board? Like, what are you looking for in a board now? I mean, it's been such an evolution over the last 2 years. I know you got a new board that's coming in the next couple weeks here.
Yeah, I went the whole way to 8.8 by 16 and something. But for the way I ride, the nose, it was too much in front of me. And then if you put the mast all the way forward, it's something, but it's still some tail you gotta deal with. I don't know how to explain it. Everybody's different. I'm not saying it's good or it's bad. It's just for my preference. I like a shorter board. I already know how to pop up. I have a 6-footer, a Mudson, that if the conditions are
I know, you keep that in your closet, huh?
perfect, I pop that thing out.
He sleeps next to it.
And downwind. And and I use it for winging. It's great board. 90 liters, 6 foot by 18, perfect. It's too short, obviously. Your legs are gonna die if you have to paddle a lot. Then I went in between that, so now I have a 7.4 Barracuda, which is great. And then this one, the next one is coming, is 8. And I went 8 because I'm gonna do the Maui to Molokai race, and I've never done it, and so I hear people telling me there's long period swells or whatever. So I imagine maybe by the mile 13 you go down, maybe you're tired and you need to like pop up again. I'm guessing an 8-footer, you know, it's better than a 7-footer.
It's gonna be like 100 liters, right?
It's 100 liters, yeah.
Nice.
I mean, depending on your condition. Like, cardio is not my strong suit. So for me, I'm like, whatever makes it easier, not a foil drive, but whatever makes it easier, I'm in. You know, I'm in. So 8-footer, I think for that one, it's gonna be, there you go. That's the start.
You gotta cue me. You gotta cue me on
Yeah,
those things. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
far
into this,
reach for me. No, that was good.
My bad.
So how much do you weigh, just for reference, when you're
160.
talking about those sizes? Yeah. Okay.
160, yeah. 190 to 100 liters, I'm good. I don't need more than that. But like I'm saying, I've worked so much and with no equipment, so I think I put extra time into practicing how to pop up on any condition that for me it's not an issue to pop up. So people coming into the sport now, you know, you just tell them, hey, get a KT or get a Barracuda with this foil and this tail.
Yeah. Well, the
Go at
options
it.
the options are still like, you know, it's still hard to set people up with the right equipment choice. Boards, no. Foils, I still have like really
It's too
depends on
much.
it really depends on their skill level, what they're looking to get out of it, and do they have to change full systems or not? It's still not as easy, and not everyone is as dedicated as Mickey, right? So you gotta. I'm having a hard time.
Dedicated, that's a nice word. Thank you for that.
Yeah, addicted. Okay. So it's hard because I want to give the right advice and put people on the right path.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to put them on the right system right from the get-go, and what will help them facilitate that? And like, what are they going to go with, and what do they want out of it, right? And how skilled are they, or how much time are they going to put into it, right? Like, not everyone's going to put in the time Gio did.
No.
You know?
No, I have some friends, and I'm gonna say out of 10, 3 are gonna get it, and out of those 3, 2 are really gonna do the downwind run with you, and the other one is gonna be in and out and put in excuses because the equipment or the conditions.
And on a foil drive.
That's a whole other category.
And
So-
a foil drive.
Where are all these guys that you used to downwind with here in Puerto Rico?
So-
wasn't there a big community of it? Did you guys do races that fizzled out, or where is
So
that?
It was like 5 guys.
Yeah,
Was it?
paddleboard. Well, you mean SUP or foiling?
No, SUP.
SUP.
Because
They-
it's like if you're downwinding SUP,
Mm-hmm.
like there is this, it's this same addiction, right? It's this same feeling,
It should be
right?
the next
It's
progression.
like that's
right?
the next step.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've asked them,
you're a
all of them. I
You're
know
a
a
lone
few of
wolf,
them.
huh?
I started doing, after I came from Maui, I was doing this 10-miler or Basiatalega to La Ocho or whatever, those runs by myself
Yeah.
for like a whole year and trying to get people into it, but
On the sup, not on a foil.
no, with the
No,
foil.
on the
Oh, with
foil.
the foil.
When
with
I
the
came
foil.
back
Oh,
from
shit, I
Maui that
understand.
first
Yeah, yeah,
summer
yeah.
that I foiled,
Yeah.
and when I got my Barracuda, it was on. I was like, there's a bump, I'm in it. Like, I was
Yeah.
everywhere doing that thing.
Yeah, the first time I ever saw somebody actually downwind foiling, it was Mickey sweeping in to shacks after just like a short hobos run, or I don't know if he went for Via Pesqueta or whatever, but coming in on that white custom Barracuda, just looking super smooth, and that was definitely like a moment where I was like, I've got to get my shit together and get on this, you know.
I try to get people on it, but they don't want to go through that suffering. The 2 guys that I mean, Gio overdid it.
The
Like,
suffering, yeah, totally
and
overdid
he's
the
still
suffering.
overdoing it. He's so excited. I'm happy for him, but he went through it. He went like, I'm gonna get this.
But after
Yeah.
his month in Maui this summer, I think he'll come back with a new perspective
I don't
on
think
conditions,
Gio's coming
right?
back from Maui.
Yeah, you just stay.
He'll just stay there.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I think
you could.
that's the truth.
And
mean-
then Roy was the one that got me like really surprised because Roy got it,
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
Fast.
very good.
but he's like a freak.
He's
Yeah,
an
he's-
absolute freak.
I think he does like horse injections or something like that.
Can you say
Into
that?
his-
He's
here?
from Texas. He does a lot of things. But somehow they
He's
all
doing something.
They all
He's doing something.
He's
It's
doing
just-
squats on a medicine ball like 24/7
Yeah,
while he like
something like that. Guy doesn't get tired. He's like,
Well, it's like somehow he has everything he does just comes together to create peak performance, but none of it makes sense on its own. Like,
It makes sense for him. I learned one thing from him. Don't follow him. Don't do what he's doing. Whatever his setup is, don't go like, oh, Roy's using this, I'm going to use this.
Yeah.
It's not going to work for you. Works for him.
Yeah.
yeah, because he's a beast.
Exactly. But Roy got it. And Roy was like, he saw me one time at Jack's, and he went to ask, hey, what's this all about? Talk to me. So I explained it to him, and he went like, yeah, I'm going to get a board, and I'm going to do that. And I'm like, yeah, you know how many people say that? And then the next week he was calling, like, hey, what are we doing? I got a board. So we went to El Perro, started doing the pop-ups, whatever. He got another board. And then he's got this short 2-miler behind his house
Yeah. Yeah.
in Dorado.
Kikitas.
So we put in the
you.
chat, hey, we're going to do a down, we're going to win, whatever. He's like, no, I'm doing my run. And he nailed that thing. He was every single day, 1 time, 2 times, just doing it. And he got it.
Yeah,
got
that's
it,
a very.
got it to the point that we went downwinding now. And if he's in front of me, I'm not catching him.
Yeah.
So it makes me wonder, like, was it such a good idea to get this guy into downwinding, you know? So
Well, and that's how you have to be to get the sport, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I think
yeah.
we were talking about gear, and
I just wanted people. I wanted a crew. I wanted like 5, 6 guys just to, let's do this, you know? And we're getting there. How many we have, you think?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're 5,
No,
6,
it's like 10.
7, 8. Yeah, there's a bunch
You
of
think
us.
there's 10?
There's
You counting
10.
Ben? There's Ben. Ben's doing it.
Ben
And
there's a couple guys down in Rincon, and you know,
Oh,
I think
really?
it's picking up. I mean, I think by next year we're going to be double, triple the number we're at. We have to be.
Hopefully.
The
I mean,
conditions here are good
the-
enough that it should grow.
I mean, the amount of KT downwind boards I sold, there's got to be a bunch of more people out there.
Yeah.
Like I brought in a bunch. They're all gone. I don't know. I
A
don't
lot of
know
people
if-
are using it for light winging too.
Yeah,
so-
light wind winging and supping, but there was like 4 people that came in and got them. They have a sup downwind background, supping background. I saw one guy in La Ocho, he was paddling on it didn't look like a paddle board. It looked like a surfboard. He was standing on it and it was sinking to his knees. And he would paddle it around in La Ocho and like paddle it really fast and sup surf. I don't remember this guy's name.
It's
but
a KT?
No, he got a KT, but he was on a surfboard, just a traditional sup surfboard.
Is it a young guy?
Yeah,
Yeah, I know who that is.
yeah, he got a KT.
He got a KT, a
He got a
small one.
95 liter, I
Yeah,
think.
that's. I'm sorry, dude. I don't remember your name. I know who you are. He's if he's the guy I'm talking about, Ricardo. Is his name?
Yes, Ricardo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's an awesome. When I was getting out of SUP downwinding, he was kind of the young guys that was like just coming up, you know. And he's really good. He represents Puerto Rico with Mari Carmen on the SUP tour or whatever. No, but he's a beast
Yeah.
paddling. So it's no surprise that he can get that small thing out of the water.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I'm waiting for my paddleboard from you. And he was like, literally to his knees. It looked like a little surfboard that he was paddling. I was like, that guy's got
But
like
he's like
insane
19
balance
or
and
20 or
coordination. He was
something.
just like
Yeah.
standing there like
They're like, "Let
nothing.
me get
It
you
was
on
so
one of these
strange. I was like, dude, you
KT
got to get on one of those boards.
Yeah. But he's been paddleboarding since,
Yeah.
really young age.
But
And he's good.
I think like Mickey was saying, I mean, even as good as the gear's gotten, the barrier of entry, like you're going to buy gear, it takes a certain amount of just willingness to go out there and suck, right? Like it's not as easy
Yes.
as some of the other foil disciplines.
No expectations.
I was saying it when I was talking to Dylan earlier, like winging kind of prepares you with that frustration, but downwinding, it's just like another level of skills that you have to build, and it's really challenging. And I agree. I think probably 2 or 3 out of 10 will like persevere.
And remember, a lot of people are not comfortable being 2 miles away from shore, depending on what run you're doing.
Yeah.
And just being able to sit it and just looking around and say there, and there's like bumps going up and down and the wind, it's kind of stormy, and feeling calm. Having the mindset of whatever happens, this is how I think. I always go like, if it goes wrong, well, whatever happens, I just sit on my board. The wind's gonna take me, I'm just, but you have to be able to get into the mind frame of, I'm gonna be here for 2 hours stuck because my paddle broke, or I have to like prone all the way to shore, or whatever. So some people are not comfortable out there, and that's why they don't do it.
And I think the San Juan Bay here and like Ocean Park specifically is just a really great place to kind of hone those skills because of the outer reef. If you're winging or kiting, you start to get, that feeling of being really offshore and having that potential, which, for me, I know was really helpful when I transitioned to downwinding, because like I was already used to being offshore and having that experience from winging and from kiting. And I think sometimes, unless you kind of have an outer reef that forces you to go out there, like, why would you go that far offshore, right? Like if you were in somewhere that was all sandbar breaks and you're kite surfing or winging, you're not going to go a half a mile out to go catch waves.
Yeah. I mean,
so go to Kite Puerto Rico and learn how to wing.
Today,
I'll teach you how to wing.
I was trying, some different setups. So I was paddling upwind, quarter of a mile or something, like 10 minutes. I said, I'm going to paddle out 10 minutes, and then I'm going to downwind to shore, because it was all going north.
Yeah.
And
Straight on shore.
by the third run that I switched tails or whatever, I was going to try it, I started paddling out, and I went like, if there was something, that don't have to spend all this energy and could take me all the way out there. You know what I mean?
That was the cue I was looking for, Mickey.
There you go.
And by the time you know what I mean?
You're hilarious. Were you really thinking that?
I was thinking about it.
Damn.
And I'm like, I'm going to tell Dylan.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a great.
I'm going to tell Dylan. He's going to love it.
I don't need you to ride a foil drive. I just love that all of our chats have.
I'm not going to.
I know. I
There's
understand.
some
I
strong
understand.
foil drive shaming that has happened.
Yeah,
It's not, listen, I want to be clear about it.
Yeah.
Just because after this, people are going to, he's a hater. Or, I'm not a hater. It's just that for me personally, being able to just walk with your gear to the beach with your paddle, and like here, if you do a caballos run, you have to paddle 1 mile out before you do the buoy.
Oh, I know.
So it's all you. You're paddling.
That was
all
my
your
my
energy.
learning run. Yeah.
And then you do the run, no wind, no batteries, no motor, no nothing. I mean, it's and then you get there and you're done. You're not depending on nothing. You're just depending on the energy of the water and whatever equipment you have, not with a motor or electrically or nothing. But for the surf application, I get it, like on a prone board to go out to the reefs and surf and whatever. For downwind, if you have a bad shoulder, if you're 75, I don't know, if you're, your knees don't...
Senior citizen.
Yeah, go ahead. But man, if you can just go through the grind for a month or something...
The reward's worth
and
it.
do
Yeah,
it, I think that it's so rewarding.
Agree.
If you don't do it with a motor, it's so rewarding.
For sure. My first, initial conversation would not be, yeah, you should get a foil drive to learn how to downwind. Definitely not, because you don't learn any skills that way.
No.
Like the appropriate skills that you'd need to be out there and actually do it. And then I was thinking about it the other day. I'm like, well, what if I just take my foil drive out there and I do a downwind run? How satisfying how satisfied would I feel at the end? I was like, I wouldn't. I'd feel like I just cheated the whole time. Well, because I can do it. There's no going back, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, to learn on it, if you are, able, you're healthy, you're fit, you have the time to spend to do it. Yeah, you don't want to use it, because when you rely on it, then it's going to be really, really hard to go back and try to suffer through it after that. I think there's this misconception of like where it kind of turns you into it and how you can learn from it. Like, yeah, but it's easier to get up and then you can learn how to run with it. But then, man, to go backwards from that, it's a really hard transition. It might be harder than just going into it full force, learning without the foil drive.
I'm guessing once you have that power, of whoop, I'm getting up.
Yeah.
Let's do it, whoop, I'm getting up. Where would you go back? You know what I mean?
Why? Yeah.
Why? So for me, in between those, when I was subsurfing and I was still didn't have quite the hang of the foiling, before my Amatsu and whatever, really early on, I went and got a e-foil class from this guy, Mike Vicente.
Yeah, see kindly.
Yeah. I don't think it was See Kindly at the moment, or maybe he was, but he was in Isla Verde. He wasn't on his current location. But nothing. I felt something was off. And I just said, you know what, let me, because surfing, you get how many seconds? of learning how to foil versus if you're there minutes or 30 minutes, you know, you get your position, whatever. So Mike give me a class like I'm here, I've never touched the water. So he gave me a full class like, this is how you stand up, put your hands here, your weight, your balance, blah, 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 blah. And I'm gonna tell you, after one class, few stupid things of put your feet here, the other here, or whatever, oh, it's like, on another level.
Yeah.
Like it changed completely because now you get a hang of, okay, so this is the balance. Yeah, this is not like snowboarding. This is not like surfing. This is not like, oh, I skateboard. It has nothing to do with it. This is completely different. And you get that feeling when you e-foil. If you're learning, I suggest people just get an e-foil class and learn and see the feeling, how it feels. And then you make your mind about proning or winging or whatever foiling you want to do it. But
Yeah, I think e-foil is definitely one of the easiest ways to feel flight for the first time and understand what foiling feels like, right? Like everybody's like, well, what's the best way to learn? I mean, if you have a kite background, for sure, going out and learning to kite foil, if you already feel comfortable out there with your equipment, I think it's a good addition. That's how I learned to foil. But looking back on it, I totally agree with Dylan. I think getting on an e-foil is just probably the easiest way to get into the sport.
Yeah, there's two things that we do. Like if someone wants to learn how to wing, we'll do like a wing lesson on the beach, learn how to manage the wing, how to hold it, how to understand the wind. If they're not a sailor, they don't have any wind background, it's very important to understand the concept of your limitations of what you can do with the wind sailing, and then get on a big paddleboard with a keel. After you do that, the next step is, well, we got to put a foil on that board. Do you do that again, repetitive, day after day with very little? What happens with winging is you get very little success in the first 5 sessions. You know, if you've never done it before, it feels like there's not much growth because you're doing the same thing. All you're doing is getting better at your balance, getting better at climbing on the board, getting more aware of how much power you have, but you're not actually, if you're not getting up on foil and foiling, you feel like you're not achieving anything. So there's 2 things that we can do. We can go e-foiling, which you foil in 20 minutes. 30 minutes you're foiling, right? If you've got a good instructor, you've got a good spot to do it, you're gonna foil in 30 minutes. The other thing that I prefer to do is to pull people up behind the boat or the jet ski on a wingboard, because the thing with the e-foil is you have this thrust. The thrust has this you got to hold the nose down. You have to hold the weight down on the front. You have to hold down the thrust, and you have to hold down the lift. So the feeling is not completely transferable, right? Learning how to foil, for sure, you get a lot more time on foil. So if I think of how I would prefer to do it, I'd prefer to pull people up if they're athletic enough, because getting pulled behind a boat and a jet ski with with the rope, it's not super easy, but on a big wingboard, 135 liters, you're on your knees. You can almost stand on it before we're going at like 2 miles an hour, and then we gain speed, and then you veer off, and then you get up on foil, and we try to get enough speed where you let go of the rope and you glide until you fall, and you feel this sensation without the thrust. But for sure, if you want to learn how to foil, go on an e-foil. You will learn in an hour session, if not 2 hours, you'll be a foiler, and that was not the case back in the day,
I recommend people,
especially if you have a good instructor like Mike Vicente.
Mike Vicente,
An amazing instructor.
Yes.
He taught me how to e-foil. I got him to teach me how to e-foil before I bought the foils so that I could teach them in my school. A phenomenal instructor, So
for me, like, if you want to foil, because people want to wing, like, I get this question. I don't know how you answer it.
I've got answers for everything.
Okay, so listen. I get out of the water, and you're with the
Here's
wing.
another one.
And you're with the foil, and you're getting out, and this person comes to you, and he goes like, how do you do that?
No.
How do you do that? It's such a simple but complex question. What do you mean, how do I do this? Like,
that's when you pull out your phone like the baristas and be like 10, 15, 20% tip. And they hit this button and you explain in depth.
And they want to learn to wing, but they don't know how to foil.
Yeah. So your answer is call Kite Puerto Rico, N1 Surf Shop, and they'll give you all the answers.
I've done that a few times, actually.
Yeah.
You
I'm
say,
sure
call
you have.
this guy. And just,
Yeah. I mean, lessons. For kiting, there's no way around it. Like, I don't believe and I don't want people to learn how on their own. It's extremely dangerous for the people around. I say it to people all the time. I'm like, I can get you on a kiteboard in an hour, but you're never coming back.
Yeah.
You know, and it's, you come in, you sign yourself up for an activity, you understand the risk. You're like, I understand that this is a risk. I'm signing a waiver. I know what I'm getting myself into. It's an extreme sport, whatever. So you can sign yourself up for that risk. And, you know, I could care less if that's what you want to do with, you know, your risk assessment or whatever. But the other people around us did not sign up for your activities.
Yeah.
Which is really important, is that these beach goers and people and the swimmers and the guys that are on the beach, they did not sign up for you learning how to kiteboard around them and like swing a kite around, which is, you know, you could.
Which
you
is
know,
the same thing with the foil drive people.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. You know,
Right?
there has to be an etiquette around.
you're
Because
one
now
of-
they're
you're one
like
of those,
buzzing
maybe.
around.
Yeah.
I mean, not here. I haven't seen. I kind of saw one guy
We'll
doing
see
it.
a lot
Not
more
gonna
of it.
mention names.
We'll see a
But
lot
there's
more
a
of
guy,
it.
I think, in the mornings buzzing around at some spot in Dorado, going bzzz all the way every morning.
I think that's Roy.
Listen,
Yeah, I believe his name is Roy.
Yeah,
well, it
no,
starts with an R.
yeah, it's true. No, yeah, there's got to be an etiquette of it. So, to answer your question about the winging,
Yeah.
I'm not super afraid of telling someone if they can't afford lessons or they don't want to take lessons with a professional. You could, for sure, you can hurt yourself. You know, there's
I'm
a
just
shore
saying,
break
learn
and
to
wind.
foil.
Learn
So
to
you
foil.
understand what's happening under your feet.
Yeah,
And then
it's-
pick up the wing. That's what I'm
you-
saying. I'm saying
you
don't learn
could.
both at the same time. You're not as efficient.
Yeah,
That's
you-
what I'm thinking.
For sure. If you want to optimize and do it as quick as possible and learn the right way, for sure. Learn the wing, learn how to foil,
Learn how
and
to
then
foil.
learn how to wing
Exactly.
foil,
Hey,
right?
yep.
But if you don't have the money to spend on lessons, professional lessons, you know, including all the equipment with certified instructors or whatever, you don't have the money to spend on doing an e-foil lesson or getting an e-foil or a foil drive or whatever, yeah, for sure. You go out and you just grab the wing and you learn how to wing. You get this giant, big, fat board and a big, fat foil.
That's
and
how I did it.
And that's it. You end up, eventually you'll learn how to wing. And it's, I think, if you don't know how to do any foil sport, it's got to be one of the easier ways to learn how to foil, unless the e-foil. The e-foil is
With the
excluded.
wing, you think?
Yeah, because
Because
it's
the equipment's
low.
so big and
It's so
stable.
big,
Yeah.
stable. It's not dangerous, right? You let go of it, it flags out. It's on your wrist. The board you can climb on. It's floaty.
You mean with a big board?
Yeah,
Yeah,
big
the-
board.
Beginner setup.
Yeah.
Yeah, not like your weight. Like whatever your weight is plus 40. You'll learn. You'll learn. You know.
One question, Walt. How much money have you saved on buying new wings since you started downwinding?
Oh, a lot, because I haven't really bought any. I'm still making
Right?
my wings last.
I have 3 wings.
Thank you,
I've had
Oscar,
them
for all my repairs.
for
Yeah,
the
yeah.
last year and a half. And I used to buy wings like every 4 months I was buying a new wing.
Yeah.
And now it's like I have 3 and that's enough. And, you know, I do go wing out from time to time.
So
Yeah.
how did you learn how to wing, and when did you start that,
So
and why, and
So-
did you enjoy it?
That's a lot of
that's
questions.
a lot of
No,
questions.
hold on. Let me ask one more
Where's-
question.
Wait, where's the
Yeah, you need a refill?
Bartender.
Bartender?
Bartender.
I think that's the co-host job. I got it.
Sweet. All right. Yeah. Let's just keep talking about your winging then.
So I already winged when I went to Maui that summer, so it was before that, yeah. It was in between when Vicente gave me that foil, that e-foil class. And the only thing I wanted to do was like soup surf. So when it got windy and choppy or whatever, and the waves weren't that good, I didn't do nothing. So I kept getting these calls from Art from Maui, like, hey, I'm on a 2.8. I went out on a 3.5. It was 35 knots. It was 30 knots. He was like, you gotta do this winging thing. And I'm like, I'm not. Why? I don't want to do that. Winging? I
Wingy
hate it.
dingy ding
Nah,
dong.
I'm not doing that thing. Then windier days came by. I was not downwinding. I was soup foiling.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? Fuck it. Let me try this thing. And yeah, I got a 4-meter Wasp, first edition, whatever. And I don't remember the board. It's a big board. And I
But
started.
didn't you have your downwind board and your foil?
No.
Oh no.
No. And so I started going to Isla Verde and doing this walk of shame, like going out. Listen, I haven't done any wing sport in my life.
Yeah.
So it was just me trying to figure it out. And Art, he told me, just put the wing this side, whatever, trying to explain. So
YouTube is a great resource.
I think I got some pointers from that, but I don't know how I got there, but I got to Kiko's house. Thank you, lady. You know Kiko, right? Kiko Dalmau?
Yeah, he's definitely gonna have to be a
Yes,
guest.
he's got to be here.
He's
He's got to be here.
he's everybody knows Kiko.
Yes. So I got to Kiko's house, which is like the spot to go winging.
Yeah.
And obviously, he gave me some pointers. He's not the most patient guy to teach, but he's good. And so he gave me a few pointers, and I started just going from Kiko's house and doing the walk of shame from that other beach, whatever you call it, and walking back, and until I got it. And once I got it, I understood the wind or whatever, and how to return from where I started. It was really fun. I was like, okay, I like this. Like now I can.
But why did you put in so much time and suffering into it? Did you know it was gonna be fun at that point? Because you were a skeptic about it.
I was skeptic about it, but I just saw all these people doing it
Yeah.
and enjoying themselves, and also like just going to puntas and catching waves. And
Yeah,
that was
surfing.
what I was, okay,
Yeah.
shit. I want to go back there when it's windy and catch some waves. And I don't have to like paddle.
And the only time you ever surfed on a foil is always on a sup.
Yes.
Prior to that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Sup surfing without a foil and then with the foil.
Yeah, for me, that was the moment out at Puntas, like getting on that first roller when I was winging, like after spending the first month doing whatever, and finally built up the courage to kind of get out to the outer reef with my kit, and like turning and flagging that wing for the first time on a bump, especially after so much kite surfing and kite foil surfing. It was just the most magical,
Yeah.
right? And
You can't kite foil surf.
Well, you can't. You just get drugged down. You try to, but you're just getting drugged downwind, right?
Then
I gave it a good effort.
I remember now because I got decent winging. I mean, what I mean decent is like I can just go wherever I wanted to go upwind, downwind, come back to where I started, do my jives, my tags, and that's it. And that summer when I went to Maui, that I did my first downwind with that Amazon board, I did a Maliko run with the wing. Dude, that's
Epic.
like you're flagging that thing
The whole time.
98% of the time.
That was my first summer,
And
I
that's
was like
so
that.
much speed, and you're like, why am I even holding this thing? Like you just want to drop the wing and just keep going.
And then you look and you're like, I have to come back and down
I have
this.
to come, yes.
That
Would
was for me the experience for sure. Did that and then just looked at it, those rollers, right? The magic white carpet unlaying in front of you, and you're just flying down it. You're just like, oh, I got to get rid of this wing. And I think that to me was where, I recognized that was the journey, was digging in on the downwind.
I've never been in a place with so much wind, because here, for me, a nuking day here was
25.
knots.
Yeah.
25 miles per hour, something like that.
That's like nobody even goes out on a day like that in Maui.
So
That's a rest day.
in Maui, this day, I
For
think
real,
it was,
dude.
That's
For real, it's a
crazy.
rest day.
it was
Yeah.
like 30 knots or something. And Art tells me, we're going to do this downwind, but I don't know if you want to go on that short board, because if you wipe out, to get up is kind of hard. And I'm like, dude, it's super windy. Why would it be hard? So, yeah, halfway, boom, I wipe out. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do 30 knots when you hold the wing just to get out of the water. The thing won't stand still. You're almost getting up on foil with the wing flat. Like, you don't even want to put a little angle on it because it'll just take it. It was like shaking. It was crazy. Then I did it with the stand-up, and I never went back to the wing to do a downwind there. So that's it. If it's windy, I'm going with the with the paddle, the stand-up.
Well, I was gonna say that kind of comes back to that conversation about foil drive and how you apply it to downwinding. And I think wing you can kind of apply to downwinding the same way, right? Because there's two skill sets in any foiling sport, right? Like there's how do you power onto foil or power the foil, which is wing or paddle if you're proning, and then there's the skill of like actually foiling.
Yep.
And you can use a wing to try and start to be able to see the matrix and read the bumps. And I did a lot of that. And I did notice there was some like rollover, right? So if you are doing downwinders with a wing, like you're learning those skills.
It helps you to read the ocean.
But the pop-up
You're
is
going-
it. You know, the pop-up's the real challenge
think-
in downwinding
Listen,
for me.
like going back to Gio and Roy or whatever when they started. When Roy started, because actually Roy showed Gio how to downwind.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't show, I didn't,
Teach Gio.
I didn't
Coach
teach
him.
Roy
Tell us, Sensei.
how to foil.
Tell us, I'm sorry.
I just,
many thoughts
or
in
you,
his head.
or you, or no one that's been to El Perro, all I've done is just tell them how to pop up. That's it. Because you already know how to foil. It doesn't mean because I teach you how to pop up means like I'm faster or better than you. Because, I mean, you're already foiling. You know, the foiling thing is different. But the pop up, you know, it's some stupid techniques, but if you don't know them, they're really hard.
Gio's really good at popping up.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Like he was,
It seems
he
like
was
he
better
doesn't-
at popping up than I was. He was just not as good of a foiler.
Foiler, yeah.
You know.
It all again, they're two parallel skill sets that join together, and that's why it's so easy to keep adding on, right? To keep adding on to these sports because you're like, well, I've already got this base that keeps building in my foil skill set every year, so throw me another way to use it.
Wow, that was a late one.
I-
That was, oh man.
I did.
How many beers is that? It's just one beer.
No, two. I'm too deep, but
Okay.
He's
All
been
right.
foil driving
it's
too much.
it's
He's
a
tired.
it's a Wicked Weed IPA. I think it's 6.9%.
Oh,
It's
that's
a
it. Okay.
East Coast.
That's the difference.
Represent.
Yeah.
So, I thought
Unofficial.
Unofficial sponsor.
I thought I had it figured out, the pop-up. And then I went to one of those classes, the flat water with Jeremy.
Yeah.
And I'm doing my thing, and I think I already know it, and I think I know what I'm doing. I'm just taking advantage of that Kalama board, a 710 that I got. And you get so much speed that, yeah, you're going to pop up. And then Jeremy comes by and says, hey, put your feet here, and this other foot, put it here, and do this. Just 3 stupid things. And I was popping up
20% better, whatever.
50% better. So if you don't know, it seems like you're never going to get it.
What size foil were you using when you were doing that?
I don't remember, dude. I've been through a lot of foils.
So speaking of all the foils, where are you now after this journey
Wait,
of going
I
through
had
so
I had
many
a,
foils?
I had a question before that. Would you
Okay.
be opposed to doing an upwinder downwinder with a wing?
No, I've done it.
Have you?
Yeah, yeah.
And you pack it away in your backpack?
Yes. And I go down again.
How was
Yeah.
that?
I've done it. Cool, man. It's kind of weird.
I've done it. I've done it
'cause
once,
You get, it's kind of.
but it was a downwinder upwinder. It was the opposite.
That's what I did. I
I've
did
thought
the
about-
opposite. I
I've thought
stashed
about that
away.
one. I've thought about that one too. But for me, it's weird having the weight on your back. But once you're on foil, you kind of get used to it. But yeah, I've done that, and that's cool.
That's why I did the opposite because I was like, well, I can stash a wing at the finish, do the downwinder,
Yeah.
and then wing back
Instead
up,
of a
get my
car,
car.
you just go
Yeah.
first, stash the wing. Yeah, that works.
I think we should be doing that a little bit more. But sometimes we go into downwinder and the wind's not strong enough to upwind with the wing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I started doing the one wheel returns where I'll stash a one wheel
That's
and then one
sweet.
wheel back, and then
Yeah.
you're good.
That
No
Jersey
matter-
boy does that. It's really cool.
Jersey boy,
Jersey boy.
So
Can't remember his name. I'll remember his Jersey.
big Jersey boy
Big Jersey boy.
who downwinds.
So
You know
yeah,
who you are.
your most recent foil journey, because back in the day, we're not counting your slingshot, green,
okay, let me.
Thing.
Okay,
Yeah, how did you get to where you are now?
because we're gonna.
I'm
if
gonna
you guys are if you guys are just listening to us, if you look at my YouTube, you will see the photos of these foils that Mickey has been using.
After-
He's supposed to send them to me
Yeah,
via text
I think I did.
message,
I
your
think I
phone,
did.
and I'm gonna pop it up on the YouTube.
I'm gonna try to remember, but yeah, it was that slingshot, Takuma, Go Foil, F1, Signature. Signature was an interesting one. I'm gonna tell you why. Because I think when they came out with that Albatross series, they came out with a 165 that if I put that thing tomorrow in good conditions, I'm flying on that thing. Super fast and efficient, still. So it doesn't mean, this is another topic, but it doesn't mean that because something was made way back, it doesn't work now. You know what I mean? Because that's another rabbit hole when companies keep just
Yeah.
bombarding with new things and
Well,
new things and new things. Doesn't mean it's better.
We were just talking, I mean, Walt was the episode before this, and we were talking about the Lift 120.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yes.
It's very much the same thing. Like today, it's still,
Yeah.
it's very relevant,
Very
that foil.
relevant. Yeah.
And I've never downwinded it. I've got one still, and I've got their new ones, the 150X, the 110, and I should, I've got these no limits, and I've got all the adapters. There's no reason for me not to be trying these foils when I can.
Yeah.
And I haven't done a downwinder. I've done a downwinder on the 150X, but I would be curious to do it on the 120 because I used to, when I first got that thing and went to wing it, I couldn't believe that I popped up. I'm like, I'm gonna put this 120 on. I'm like, well, what am I gonna do out
Yeah,
there?
I remember.
And I popped it up, and I popped it up right away, and I was flying, and I was like, holy shit, that thing is wild. Yeah,
I
so,
remember
Still
you
relevant.
wrote it. You wrote it
still
over to
relevant
me.
foils.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a bunch of them from a bunch
Yeah.
of different brands, right? Takuma's got to have them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Armstrong has them or not. Maybe because what they're putting out now is just so much better when what they had put out in the
Yes.
past.
Armstrong is
you know?
complicated.
Yeah, very complicated.
Armstrong
Yeah.
is like, for me, like surfers when they use quads or three fins or thrusters. What do you
Thrusters,
call
yeah.
them? Yeah.
Thruster or quad, yeah.
It's kind of like those new downwind front wings they came out with. I got the 755. And the first good run I had with that thing, we did a caballos run, and it was good. It was 20-something plus, and it was swell, and it was energy out there. And Roy was on a 150, and Gio, I don't remember
It was
what.
still Access maybe, or the 980?
No, he was on the 980S, the
Okay.
code.
And a boat dropped us off the buoy, and we just paddled. All three of us pop up, boom, let's go. And I was gone. And I couldn't even believe how fast I was going. I've never been so fast on a downwind with that 755. And I don't know, maybe I got just so excited by that run, whatever. I went to the Rabbit Armstrong hole. And then that didn't sound right at all. I went into the, whatever, you understood.
Yeah.
And then after that, we did like, I'm gonna say 6 runs, 10 milers with Gio and Roy. And I was using the 755.
Well, Roy is riding that 755 exclusively,
That's
right?
what I'm saying.
You got him
This
onto it.
guy is,
Beast.
don't follow him. Let him do his shit. He's doing his shit. So it never worked for me, again, that 755. And I bought a different mast. I bought a different tail. Long fuse, short fuse, different, the angles.
I know.
I was blaming it on the board. I was blaming it on whatever. The thing was so pitchy. It's just, you couldn't control the pitch control on that thing. It's fast. It is fast. So the better result I got out of it was with the long fuse, but then you felt like this draggy, like it wasn't, you're going, but you're not going. Kind of like the way you must feel with that foil drive. Like you're doing something, but
you're not doing
kind of doing
something.
it because you're carrying some weight or whatever.
But you also had that 9 something, right?
What 9?
The Armstrong, you bought the 900 something,
Yes.
right?
Then we tried that one day on
I
light
can't.
conditions.
So I don't sell a lot of Armstrong anymore, but I think it's like 755, and then they jump from 755 to
900,
900,
930.
yeah.
What a crazy jump.
Yes. So that's for them, I think, for downwind, was like the light day conditions. Man, this is my personal opinion, and I don't want to, but that thing, it doesn't have a purpose. So slow. You pop up, but if you never rode a 755 and you use the 930, this is good. Oh man, this is good. But I was riding my Mike's Lap 1150, and Roy was riding the 930, and Gio was riding I don't know what.
Probably 860R by then.
And I was in front of both of them.
Yeah.
The conditions were weak. They were not good
On
conditions.
a Mike's Lab.
1150, yeah.
Yeah.
And
But that thing's
Well,
super fast.
dude,
And
it's
it doesn't have a lot of low
We
end.
can't talk about
but it's
Mike's Lab.
but
He's
it's
in his own
dude,
class.
It's a 40. It's a 43.
Doesn't he test
inch.
every foil that he
Well, it takes
sells?
like 100 a year.
Well,
Do you receive those foils wet?
What do you mean? Maybe. I don't know.
right?
So what I'm saying is, depending on conditions, you can have a small foil, but it's not going to be as efficient if you don't have the right conditions for it. So that's why I've gone into this rabbit hole of spending a lot of money trying everything that comes out.
Well, because you had the Phantom for a minute there,
I had the Phantom, and
which
then
you were preaching. You were like Reverend Phantom for a second.
I haven't tried anything else. That
No,
was
no,
way
it's
back.
obviously rad.
But when people ask me, hey, I'm gonna learn how to downwind. So you want to make it easy for them. So I tell them just get a Phantom 1480.
1480.
Yeah, but now you have the Takuma 14
The
something.
1440, yeah. Which
It's a
is super good to
1440.
learn on.
You want them to pop up.
You just want to get on foil.
Yes,
If you're
you
not on
just
foil,
wanna get
you're
Well,
on
we have
learning.
that
And then you let
that
them
code
figure it out.
1300 also.
I haven't tried that one.
Yeah, I mean Randy loves
yeah,
it.
yeah.
He's
He likes
popping that up.
Yeah, that code 1300 is pretty special.
Yeah, I can't keep
Easier
him.
to handle too.
I can't keep him in stock.
I think it's the
I'm
foil
on the 860 now, on the code.
860R
860R. And that thing, if you
for
tune
the
it
second time.
yeah.
No, it's not true. It's the first time because when you first went through code, you bought it all, and I think you went straight to the 770.
No.
No, he went
No?
on the 860 because he came and did a run with me.
I got an
over
860
in
with the
Aguadilla.
large fuse.
But you didn't get a
fuse.
770?
No.
Oh, you tried one. I gave you one to try.
No, he never
You
even
first-
tried it.
Yes.
Yes, you tried the
So
770.
here's the
Okay, I
thing.
just thought you bought it.
Let's go on. I'm forgetting.
go.
Whatever. I went through all these foils. Armstrong, I'm sure is great. That 755, and then they came out with the high aspect
Yeah.
series, and I looked at those and I said, I think those high aspects are going to be more friendly than these downwinds. And look at people right now.
Yeah.
Everybody's on that 880 thing.
So Roy's 880 arrives tomorrow.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, he ordered the 880.
Right?
Yeah, it ships. It arrives tomorrow.
So
He's gonna be on that thing
Does
now.
this make sense to you? Just to compare, and just anybody who sees this, I am an average foiler. I'm not an excellent foiler. I'm not a ripper. I'm just one of the bunch. So when people have, because this is another thing, you see all these Kai Lennys and all these rippers and all these Oscars from Armstrong doing these magic tricks on these foils, and you suddenly go like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get that thing. It's not the same, man.
They know how to sell foils.
Huh?
They know how to ride and sell foils.
Well,
So-
they make any foil look good.
You hang out with Roy, he's a beast, and he gets that 755 or the 680 whatever, or the lift 110, and he rides that thing. I cannot ride the 110. If it's not juice enough, I'm not riding that 110. I
He'll
can't.
just muscle it up.
Because you have to
Yeah.
you have to put in work, and I'm lazy. I just like to stand up straight, grab my paddle, and just glide. If it means I'm going slower, well, it is what it is. So that's why I got into that thing, whatever. Now I'm in the 860, which for the first time I tried it with the large fuse. And that's why I didn't like it the first time.
I agree. The large fuse.
I tried it with the large fuse and the
I had the
150
same
tail.
experience.
And I went like, my mic slap is faster than this. Why would I get this 860 if I have an 1150, which is faster?
Yeah.
Now I tried it with the medium fuse,
And it's
and it's another foil. And I'm like, okay, this thing is okay.
No shimming, no nothing. Straight
Nothing.
out of
I
the
don't like
box.
shimming, nothing. I like just bolt the thing in.
And you're on the code mast.
Yes. Yeah. And it's pretty amazing. And I've tweaked a few things here and there, and you get a lot of good speed out of it.
Let's see how long that lasts for you.
Well, here's the
your track record says 2 to 3 months.
The only thing I'm waiting
Just before you sell it on the market, call me, Mickey.
The only
I know
thing-
I'm your first call
Yeah.
always, but
I'm doing okay with it. I think the next one, and I think a lot of people are waiting for that, even you, is the KT.
Oh yeah.
When KT
I mean,
comes
we all
out
we all
with
want
his
to see
thing,
what Kane puts out, right?
whatever Kane puts out there, I want to try it.
Yeah.
And for sure, I'm going to try it this summer.
We've
When
been talking about it.
I've been on their list for a year. I think I
For
emailed
what?
for those foils. I said, I don't even know what they're coming out with. I don't know
I'll
what
take
it's
'em
going to
all.
be. I don't know what sizes
I
they're
don't-
going to be. I said, just whatever it is, I'm
Exactly.
already pre-ordering.
Yeah.
Just put me on that order.
But you should jump with us this summer.
I'm coming.
He's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not going to be there when you
No,
get
no,
there.
he's
So
coming
I'm
earlier.
coming
now.
earlier now.
Let's talk about this summer trip. I
Yeah.
mean, the
With
Puerto
no foil
Rican
drives,
invasion of Maui.
No, dude, I'm not going with a foil drive. No.
No foil drives. No foil drives allowed.
It has an application, Mickey.
It has. Listen,
And I
I'm not
will.
hating.
And I will.
I'm sorry. I'm just
Well,
fucking around.
I'm
it's
just
a tool.
telling you.
It's a tool.
I'm telling you now. I will use it to do some downwinders to test some foils that I want.
Well, I think it makes sense.
And it's
especially
true. I'm going to do it
prototypes.
because I've got to test some prototypes that, whatever, North is throwing me, and I want to test some things. And it's really hard to give feedback because to go out and do a run, I got to paddle out a mile. I got to take a boat. I got to take an employee with me. And I'm thinking of the application of I could just throw that foil drive on. I could go out. I could not have to pop up or worry or stress about it. It's stressful not getting up on foil or ruining a whole run for 4 miles or whatever. So I'm going to use it for that application, and you can say whatever you want.
This is
but
just in case if I see you out there.
yeah, just in
Yeah,
case
yeah.
you see
Yeah,
me
yeah,
out
yeah.
there, you know,
Well, it's an awesome tool that
that
you
justification.
Yeah. All right.
Can use. I mean, you can
Yes.
use it for a lot of applications.
Yeah,
it can be
it
for
doesn't.
something.
I don't want to
simple, it
talk
can be
about foil
something
drive
complex.
anymore.
You don't?
No.
I have one question.
Yes. I have the answer.
That equipment is not cheap.
No,
It's quite expensive.
that's
Yeah.
correct. Yeah, it's
For the-
$5,300.
Okay. Why do you still have to use that tape?
Oh, it's for a cable. The
it's the
cable that
vibe,
runs
dude.
from
It's the
the.
vibe.
But if you
from
put
the
all
motor.
this,
It's
work.
the early days. Why did you ride that?
No, but when I was riding, there was nothing out there, dude.
Well, there's no
Well,
other
this
foil
is what I'm
assist
saying.
available.
It's the first
is
one.
there, is there second, right?
Second gen.
Yeah, it's their second gen. Look,
I just
when
think all the
when
gear
Lyft,
goes
I'm
through
just
this.
saying.
let's say some other brand comes out with something else, and this is the first of the first, and there's going to be many more. And I'm on the.
You
we're-
think?
Oh, for
Oh,
sure,
yeah.
dude. I mean, the market.
It's going to get so easy.
Yeah,
from here.
the market
It's not
share
gonna
that
be this complex.
they're capturing right now. There's no way that there's people sitting in the background just waiting for them to
You know
develop
what
this
catches
thing.
my?
There's no way.
Like I'm a little bit intrigued.
That's just how humans work.
It's that board Mr. Bennett is using. The board.
The fart
with-
the
amp,
fart
the
board.
fart
The
board.
fart board. I know.
I
And
mean,
it's similar to what
cool.
the
It's
foil drive
gonna be a
is,
while.
So it's the
It-
same application. Just
It's
foil drive's more
similar.
versatile.
There's like
Foil
for-
drive can just do more.
foil drive can do more
But
in certain things, but the
Advanced
it-
application.
I think for like just boosting yourself in the waves, like
Yeah.
strictly for sure that amp thing is way cooler for the prone side of
How
things.
much you think that thing will weigh?
How much will it weigh?
Yeah.
I have no idea, man. I don't know if they're even done prototyping it. I think they've just got
That was just hype.
I think they've got a couple boards they're trying to hype up, and that thing won't come out till 2026.
And when it
Think?
does,
I don't know. Yeah, that's what I think. And when it does, I don't know. I don't know what the cost is going to be. I'm guessing that the board alone without mast or anything is going to be around 10 grand. You know, that's my
What?
guess. At least
It's
foiling, man.
yeah, look. I mean, it's the
Listen,
front edge of it. It's always going to be.
if you get me
expensive.
a foil, all right, where you put this latest technology inside the mast, and I'm not seeing nothing, and then at the end of the fuse and the tail, you put like a jet ski
Yeah.
situation
Yeah.
that will help you pop up, I'm down with that. It's just that I'm
Well,
not a fan of that motory thing just spinning,
That's what Flight has.
right?
Flight has that kind of thing. It comes out and off the back of the fuselage.
No, but they still have a. Oh, they
Yeah,
have a,
but they have like a little jet,
they have
but
a
it is a propeller, but
It's
it's a
propeller.
jet.
It's a jet.
Yeah, they have one or
Well,
the
Lyft-
other,
Lyft
and
has
they're
one,
surfing
too.
it. Yeah, Lyft has the same thing,
Lyft
but
has the
not.
jet?
It doesn't come off the back of the fuse. It comes off the
The
mast.
mast,
But
like a standard placement.
these guys are gonna be racing, you know, and which is great that there's this Flight, and Lyft came up with it first. Life, I think, Flight is still like they must be paying a royalty to Lyft or something because they came up with the tech first. And then there's this foil assist, which I'm sure Lyft has tried in the past but thought it was a gimmick, right? And
What's that one? Foil assist.
this is the foil assist, the foil
We're
drive.
just saying foil drive.
Oh, how many names does it have?
Well, I'm just saying that's what it's called. They don't call it an e-foil. They call it a foil assist.
Oh, okay. My
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, you need to get deep on those
down
water
with the
sports
lingo,
categories,
man.
man.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, like, it's gonna be interesting because there's no way that foil drive is gonna be the only one. I mean, there's already this other one. It's called Stoke, right? It's this. It looks like a missile. The battery itself
Little torpedo.
is in
I think
the
I saw
front
that
cone.
one on, what's the name of this guy of Real Water Sports?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think he did
yeah.
a video on that one.
Yeah, Matt Nuzzo.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he I think they're selling foil drive. versus the Stoke. They might be on both. I don't know. They're very focused on their
think the
customers, so
point
they'll
is
find the right thing. But
the
I'm just
opportunities
saying,
for
there's-
foils are endless, right? Like
yeah,
the tech
what
is increasing
Yeah,
every
there's-
year, and we're going to see new products like this, and it's all just different ways you
When,
can be in the
where
water
do
on
you
foil.
draw the line between you're just coming out with a lot of shit to sell, and this is what really works because we're interested in the sport progressing
well, it's a good idea.
versus I just want to sell you. Because listen,
You buy a lot of stuff.
I buy a lot of stuff, but you know what had it with me? These guys from Axis, they come up with these collections, and it's like 8 front wings, and then 4 months later, 5 months later, oh, now we got the spit whatever, and it's like 8 more wings.
Yeah.
So what are you saying? So the 1099, because I wrote the 1099, and I mean it's not the most
Put the
sturdy
Art
thing,
Pros.
but you could put 22 miles per hour on that thing, and the thing just stay there. It's good, and right now that's an old one. Nobody's using that now. They're using other things.
What are you
So
saying,
it's
that
too
they're
much.
just trying to sell you stuff?
Yeah, like 10,
I
51
think
or
the
whatever.
problem is that not the problem. The thing is with foiling is that we're trying to develop as fast as we can, and there's always going to be a next best thing. And what are they going to do? Axis is going to wait in the background while Armstrong and Code and North or whatever
Yeah, no.
comes out with their next thing, and then they're
I get it.
like, oh, our consumers and our customers already have enough options. Let's hold back. No, they're
That's what I'm
always.
saying. Where do you draw the line between?
There is no
they're
line.
just trying to sell.
I don't
things,
think
and
that
what
they're
I
just.
have
I don't
is
think
just
they're
enough.
just trying to sell things. No, I think they truly believe that they're developing and they have to get foils to market, right? So there has to be a production, there has to be a sales pitch, there has to be riders, and for sure there's a little bit sometimes too much fuel.
And they're getting
in-
expensive.
Yeah, there's a little
Like,
bit too much
more
fuel
expensive.
into certain realms of like how much you push these sales, because they will sell if they're good, they will sell, and then you know that something better is going to be coming, and we're all looking for it. So I think there's a little bit of a balance that has to be
Yeah.
associated, but the commercial market and the retailers and then the designers and the pro riders, it's inevitable that there's always going to be a next best thing, and there's too much is never enough, Mickey.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. That's
You
what
know,
I'm saying.
the
Where do
French
you
have
draw-
It's
said
how
it,
we got
too
to
much
where
is
we
never
are
enough.
today. Like the progression is happening because everybody's pushing, and I think Axis has probably been the most participant member of putting out new stuff consistently, right? Like
Listen,
that's why they have so many foils, and that's what it kind of takes in these early years to
Of-
get there,
of all
right?
the
Like we got to
things
go through a lot of
I've
gear to
tried-
find the good stuff.
Of all the money I've spent and all the things I tried, Armstrong with that, what do you call it? They have under the wing, that shape they got under the wing of that 755.
Oh, the anhedral.
Whatever you call that thing. You can pop that thing up in nothing.
Well, it's a radical foil section, right?
So it doesn't drop. Like I used the Axis 1051 or 1001, I don't remember. And that thing, when you're going slow,
1051.
if you don't know what you're doing, you'll drop from the sky.
Yeah.
It'll just go boom like this. That Armstrong 755, when you're going slow, it just kind of like, you're gradually going down. It gives you a chance, like if you want to pump it up, you pump it up again. So that's a big one right now. For riding like a small foil, I think Code and Armstrong. I don't know what they did, but they have something there where it helps you
Yeah.
to
Bring
get
it
a
back.
small foil and pop it up and
Yeah.
do your thing. So.
Yeah. Yeah, numbers don't mean shit now in
They don't,
foils.
right? It's so confusing.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, for sure. So let's wrap it up with our trip to Maui.
All right.
When are you
So-
guys going?
I'll be there on the 5th.
Of? That's
July.
a great number, the 5th.
Yeah, the fifth. That's all he's thinking. He's just focused on number 5. I just got to get to
And
number
when are
5.
you leaving?
The 5th of August, a full month.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking of being there probably the first week of August.
Yeah, I get there the 25th,
first-
and I think you're coming soon after, hopefully.
like the 1st of August or something like that. I got a new baby on the way, which is going to be born in end of June.
Can you leave it like in the
July.
hospital and take care of him? before-
Yeah, whatever. You
pick
just
it
pop
up
it
when
up,
you come
leave it
back.
there.
Yeah.
Like if you don't put a name on it, they'll keep it
It's
until
like the
it's
library.
like the lost and found.
It's like 5 cents a day for the late fee. It's not that bad.
No, we're gonna be going. Shadi, my wife's parents, are in California, and they might fly in, and we get a house. And I've never been to Hawaii. I mean, man, I've been in the water sports industry for 15 years, and that's all I do: wind and waves.
never been
and
there?
Never been. I mean, it's just never lined up. I've always just been working,
Bring
working
your
and
big
working.
air
and-
kit and a downwind board.
Yeah, I'm
and you're
definitely
good.
bringing a kite for sure. I definitely want to send it on a kite.
You should. The wind's
I'm a-
so,
Listen,
so
I love
that's
kiting.
crazy. When the SUP thing, when the winging started,
I know, it's crazy, right? There's
we
no more
went to
kiters.
Ka.
I mean, there's some,
beach,
but compared to what it used to be,
Were like 30 kites
Mm-hmm.
out there and people winging or whatever. You don't see that now.
No kites?
You see kites.
you see a few,
but
but compared to how it was like 80%
No, for sure.
kites.
There's
and
a
then
complication
like 20%
to it.
Wing. Now
Even
it's like
winging.
shifted.
I mean, I pick and choose.
wing-
Even
right?
winging's died down a little bit
that same beach you
because
go now
of everybody's downwinding.
and you see if it's
crazy.
windy.
It
you
is
see
crazy. It's a crazy place. It's the future, right? Like you go there,
Yeah.
you're like, this is where the sport is going.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think I saw like 2 people doing an SUP downwinder last summer, and that was it. Like it's like seeing a dinosaur or something on the outside.
Hey, where did you get that Hot Wheels wing from?
I can tell you on live. I gotta tell you. Yeah, that's. I got it from the hot wing guy in Maui. Not the actual guy. I got it from his friend. Wow, I don't remember his name right now.
That's embarrassing.
It's okay. You can tell us
It is
offline.
embarrassing. I got it from him, and that's the first edition of them.
Oh, really?
And I liked it. 'cause
Hot Wheels.
It's got the Hot Wheels logo, but it
Oh,
says
it says Hot Wings. I didn't even look at it. I didn't even read it. I
Yeah.
thought it said Hot Wheels.
No.
Because they
Hot
got
wings.
sued by
Hot
Mattel.
wings.
Yeah,
so,
for
so they're not
sure.
making it anymore.
There's no way
I
you
got
can get
it
away
on-
with
yeah,
that.
Yeah, I got it in Maui like 3 years ago or something.
So Mickey,
And
like,
I'm keeping that one.
so somebody's thinking about getting into downwinding.
Yeah.
What are your words of wisdom for that person?
That's what I asked Gio. Same question.
Well, I wasn't on the
But
Gio
but Gio, he's like, just suck it up. Get a foil in the butt.
how is hey?
got- he
First of all,
almost-
before he answers, how is Gio doing?
I asked him yesterday. He said he's still has a sore butt. it's gonna be.
That's
I mean,
dangerous.
it's gonna be a little bit. He's got 7 stitches or something.
But foiling's
So
not dangerous.
That was a 680R in the butt. That's a sharp. That's
So
a
it wasn't
pointy
it
foil.
wasn't the tail, it was the front
It
one.
was the front wing that went into his butt. Yeah, yeah. That's not good.
Like I
So-
said, the dreaded taco.
Yeah, that's the taco for you.
But words of wisdom.
So
You still get a question.
If you don't go so this was it the way it happened. When I went to Maui at first time and I did that downwinder, and everybody was like on 120s I mean, because you usually you go out with a bunch of people, right? And 8 people. And in between those, there's those cane guys, and those kalama and when they get up, you don't see them
They're
anymore.
gone.
They're just gone. And some of them ride small wings, some whatever. They know
That was my experience with
The
you and
course?
Roy last season.
and so you go, okay, so this is what they're using in Maui. What's he using? Oh, the 120 lift or whatever, or this small foil. So you get here to Puerto Rico, we don't have those conditions, but you're still on Maui, your mind, I'm going to Puerto Rico and I'm just gonna rip it up, whatever. And
Maui East, baby.
and you start getting these small foils, and they just don't work. You can use them. I bought an AFS 800, and I've used it since I bought it like 2 times here in Puerto Rico.
I'm waiting for that marketplace
And
to
it's
blow up.
super fast, and it's a super fast foil, but it's just not for here. So I'm bringing it to Maui, and I'm going to use it this summer. So I'm saying, anybody out there?
What are you saying?
What are you saying?
You're like, buy lots of
No,
foils.
but just going back to the question, what would you recommend? What would you recommend?
lots of gear.
right?
No.
No. Where do you live?
Yes, of course.
Do you
Yeah.
live in Maui? Do you live in Australia? I don't know the conditions in Australia, but do you live in the Caribbean? You live in Puerto Rico? Puerto Rico, you know what? Start with a 14-something. If you think you're going to put in the time, get a 12-something, 1280, 1200. And that's something that you're going to learn on, and you're going to keep using it on like regular, normal 15 to 18 miles per hour days. And that's it. You don't have to you can use that gear for a year.
Yeah, just back it up, baby,
and
if it's
just-
too fast.
And then figure out what you want. But if you have a little group of friends, because now remembering, since you guys all downwinded, I started spending more money. When I was doing it by myself, I don't have
no
to race no one.
competition.
So,
You didn't know what you were
so
missing.
I was using big foils and I was having fun. Like, so going back to it, imagine,
Now we have like there's a
Healthy competition.
there's a meter out there, you
Yeah.
know. There's like, oh, I finished this run in this amount of time.
Exactly.
These were my splits. You know, there's something to compare it to. So there's
my last downwinder, we all got at the same time, right? So I'm trying to race Roy.
How
which is
good
on a
was that downwinder?
755. Oh, you were in that
that
one.
was a great one.
So he's on a 755. I'm on my 1150 because I thought conditions was going to be weak, but it was really good.
Yeah.
I caught up to Roy. So now I'm excited. I wasn't racing, but now I have it here. Now I'm racing. Now I'm racing. So he doesn't see me, but I'm there with him. I'm just waiting for him to make a mistake and just go by him. And I fall.
Oh man.
So when I fall, I look and he's gone. So in my mind, I'm not racing now. I'm not
Yeah.
racing. I'm just
I
having
was just
fun.
having fun.
Exactly. So
So just have fun. That's the words of wisdom.
it always stings a little bit at the end, depending on what you're doing or what gear you were using. But it's healthy. Makes you spend more money, but it is what
it
it
just
is.
makes you stronger and
You know?
makes you a way better foiler. Whatever foil discipline you're doing, if you don't foil, getting in downwind, for sure, it's going to be hard. But if you foil, you surf, you e-foil, you foil drive, you whatever.
And listen,
wing.
if you don't wanna, if you wanna get used to that losing feeling and a lot of people in front of you, you're gonna get that this summer in Maui. All those Maliko runs, well, you're not gonna be the first one out there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for
there's,
sure.
There's
Yeah.
these people that you go like, but he was just here. Where is he?
He's just
Oh, you saw that practice race they just had. I mean, Kane did
27 minutes.
27 minutes, under 30 minutes.
Crazy, right?
Flying. That's just crazy.
Yeah.
yeah.
He must have been
I'm on
a
that
really
order.
small. But listen, those days.
So you want those KT wings, is what you're saying?
No, here's
Foils.
the other thing. Those days,
Front wings. Whatever.
yeah, these guys are using.
Foils, sorry.
Are using, like, those are the days for the 90s, 110s, Mike's Lab 540s. These guys, the guys that are
there's a
doing those
Mike-
times, they're right.
Did you see those Mike's Labs 325 or something that he had?
Are they?
Not downwinding, but winging. It's like a 300. It's insane.
I think Mike's getting a little lazy. Putting
Looks
340?
pretty-
Putting the
yeah, something
stabilizer on the
crazy.
I haven't seen that.
Insane.
Is there a 3-something out there?
Yes.
For winging?
Yes.
wing
Dude,
racing.
it looks like it's a back tail, essentially.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just
Yeah.
move the stabilizer forward and
Yeah.
Nah, I haven't seen those.
All right, so your words of wisdom are embrace the suck, buy lots of gear, and
Depending on where you're living,
and,
it's
and
just
race your friends.
race your friends. Yeah. Sure, why not?
Cool, Mickey.
We
well,
cool?
yeah, we're cool. Thanks for joining us.
I thought it was gonna be
Cheers,
weird,
man.
but this is actually really cool.
You see, everyone's been saying that.
Yeah,
I
you gotta
like
get
it.
Kiko. You gotta
it's
get
because
Kiko
you're
here.
sitting on
Kiko's gonna
inflatable
come for sure.
furniture. That's what makes
That's
it more
gonna be like
comfortable.
the.
I think.
Once you lose this, it gets really pretentious.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening. We'll see you guys next time on the X Foils.
Cheers.